Alright, what is up, disc golfers? Before we get into the Simon news, I want to give a quick shout out to the video sponsor, bergsdiscsports.com. Use code ICE10 for 10% off any of our bags. The link is in the description below. Alright, so we've got some crazy news out of Simon Lizotte. The rumors have been circulating for a while now. Simon has been negotiating, and I'm not entirely certain that Simon knew he was leaving Discmania until very recently. There was a lot of phone calls with Eagle, I'm sure with UC, with the new company, and friends and family to help, Simon make this decision. He probably weighed out all of his options. He probably did whatever he could to stay with Discmania. And ultimately, the new offer was an offer that he could not refuse. So Simon uploaded this video to his YouTube channel, and there was a lot of speculation that Simon was definitely not leaving Team Discmania because he was making all these videos. I didn't particularly understand that logic because Discmania didn't do Simon wrong in any way. So there's no reason for Simon to stop making Discmania content until, the announcement is official. Now I'm curious to see what Simon's throwing in his, his next videos. I'm sure Simon's already juiced up with all the new brand stuff, and I'm sure he's all ready to go wherever he's moving to. Now, when it comes to Simon still making the Discmania content, he's been with them for 10 years. There's literally no reason for him to have any, hardships or hard feelings towards Discmania. They helped him get a professional disc golf career from the very beginning. They took a chance on him when he was, just a young kid. They helped him get on tour. Simon's going to do whatever he can do to help Discmania, succeed all the way until the very last second he's with them. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But I just wanted to address, people being like, yeah, he's making Discmania videos. That must mean he's going to be with them forever. That's not how it works. Simon's just grateful for the opportunities that Discmania has given him. So I think he tried even harder to put out Discmania content, not only for the fans, but also for Discmania itself. So I just wanted to address that because I think that's an important aspect of this, and this shows just a little bit more of a deep dive into Simon Lizotte's character. A lot of players, if they're leaving their sponsor, they wouldn't be doing this. But Simon continues to promote Discmania all the way to the very end. And I think this just shows how loyal and how good, of a sponsored athlete Simon is, because he is going to be loyal to you to the absolute very last second, which is really cool. And I really respect. I had a good feeling Simon was leaving. And the fact that he was putting out all these videos made me like, wow, Simon's like even that much cooler of a guy because he's going to do right by Discmania right to the last video. So I respect the heck out of that. So I really appreciate, Simon doing that for Discmania and for the fans, because these are like certified disc golf classics now, like the final Simon Lizotte Discmania videos. So these are like a legendary set of videos that, I feel like people will go back and watch for a very long time. Now, we have this post from Discmania here. Thank you, Simon, for this journey of a lifetime. Discmania has had the pleasure of working with the German wonderkind for an entire decade. What started as a relationship between a relatively unknown young European distance thrower and a relatively small disc golf company eventually morphed into a bond between two household names in disc golf. Along the way, we created world records, flying circuses, major victories, and Pro Tour wins. We made history, we made people laugh, we drove sports cars in a desert and reinvented the game. The ride has been an enjoyable one, a journey of a lifetime. It has been great to watch Simon grow up. He started out his career in Team Discmania as a road warrior in the Discmania RV and finishes it as a family man with his own home in Massachusetts. I've also heard rumors of a Simon Lizotte relocation, but we're not going to get into that. I just don't think you guys are ready to hear that, so I'm not going to talk about it. Simon will forever be a part of the Discmania family. This relationship has really allowed both Simon and Discmania to reach new heights. He will forever be a part of our company's story, and we will forever be a part of his. We want to thank Simon for making our fans smile. Whether they're in the woods of Finland, the beaches of California, or the mountains of Colorado, Simon has a knack for bringing a smile to people's faces. Even in the heat of an intense playoff situation, Simon finds a way to make it fun, and for that we are grateful. This is little young boy Simon. Ultimately, Discmania is, getting one last Simon Lizotte release. Simon's going to make, a little bit more money with Discmania, and Discmania is going to make a little bit more money with Simon. And I think this is a nice way for the fans to have, one last signature Simon Lizotte disc. These are going to sell out instantly, the Horizon Doombird 4. And Simon says in his video, I wish I would get to throw this one. It feels incredible, but I'm not going to get to throw this. And Simon seemed genuinely disappointed that he's not going to get to throw this disc this year. And I really like the way Simon, explained this to us. Any other player, if they came out with a signature disc drop right before they left the company, people would be like, okay, this is one last cash grab before you switch sponsors. Okay, so people would view it that way. But because it's Simon Lizotte, and we know his intentions are probably pure, we see it as a gift to the fans, and that is just one of the many things that comes with the Simon Lizotte effect. Simon has the most unwavering support from his fans. Instead of the fans seeing this as a negative thing, they see it as a positive thing, and this is going to sell out in 1 second. You literally can go on the Discmania website, watch that counter countdown, and hit buy right as it goes live, and you probably won't get one. That's how well these are going to sell. So congratulations to Simon, and this Doombird 4 looks super cool. But now we're going to look at Simon's video here. I'm sure you guys have watched it at this point, but there's a few things that I want to touch on and talk about. So I started a minute in. He only talks for about 5 minutes, so we're going to talk about a few things.
And if you would have asked me 3 months ago what the odds are of me ever leaving Team Discmania, I would have said Discmania for life, baby. And I'm totally okay with that. I would have been totally okay with that. But after this crazy season I had, I guess it was just a matter of time until someone reached out and made me an offer. And that happened. And it was just an offer I had to take a closer look at. And I've received offers in the past, of course, but usually I just said thanks, no thanks, just because I felt so at home where I was, and my life just definitely wasn't ready for a big switch. But this offer was different. My life is now different, the sport is now different, so I made a couple phone calls to friends and family.
And my speculation is that this is $1 million a year for either 5 or 10 years. Simon is 30 years old, but I do think Simon, even if, he stops playing as well, it doesn't matter as long as he's still making content. 10 years from now, people are still going to buy Simon Lizotte discs, regardless of what manufacturer it's with. But I predict that Simon will be making $1 million a year for either 5 or 10 years. Longer than Ricky's contract, but probably shorter than Macbeth's. It'll be somewhere within that range, in my opinion.
Just to see what the general opinions are on a crazy move like this, and I started liking the idea of something different and a fresh start. I just thought to myself, I just turned 30 years old, I have a family now, I've been playing for the same disc golf company for 10 years, my entire 20s. And at the end of a season, I often feel burnt out, and in general, I just feel like I'm lacking a bit of motivation to be like the best player I can be. So this kind of started feeling like a now or never situation for me.
And I can understand where Simon's going with this. Simon has always been known to be that guy who gets burnt out. He stops caring. He doesn't really want to play as much when it gets to the end of the season. The rest of the field in the Disc Golf Pro Tour needs to be afraid of the monster that Simon Lizotte is going to come into this season wanting to win more than he ever has, and he's going to have a reignited passion. I feel like he's going to have that passion from when he was that young kid, but now with the skill of him as, 30 years old, possibly the best player in the world. So I think that passion mixed with his current skill set, Simon could come out and just win everything this year. He could have a crazy 5, 6, 7 win season and be right up there competing with Macbeth, Wysocki, and McMahon every weekend. That passion mixed with the skill set, Simon is going to be a very dangerous man to deal with.
Just everything in my life feels like it's at a turning point, and I knew that if I don't do this now, I'm probably staying at Discmania for the rest of my career, which again, I would have been okay with. But the more phone calls I made, and the more I started thinking about this every single day for weeks, the more I started falling in love with this idea of something different, something new, a fresh start, and a new motivation. So I made the decision that I want to give this offer a serious chance, and I started calling the higher ups at Discmania, just trying to figure stuff out. There was a time where I was probably on the phone with Eagle every single day, multiple times, for a couple of weeks. And the phone calls, dozens of phone calls with Discmania, were not fun or easy. They were very tough and sad. And the more we dove deep into these discussions of me potentially leaving the team, the tougher it got for me. The phone calls went on, and Discmania, of course, offered me the world to stay. On the one hand, I knew that I wanted this fresh start, a new motivation. And on the other hand, I knew that if I leave, I'm giving up a lot. I'm giving up my family and something extremely safe. Discmania is my family, and leaving your family is really scary. I will lose the Crush Boys, I'll lose my signature discs, of course, all my logos, and the entire Discmania community that I helped build for the last decade.
I think Simon didn't do a great job explaining this part. I don't think Simon's losing the Discmania family. I think they're still going to support him. He can always give UC a call. He's always going to be friends with Eagle. The Discmania fans are going to stick right by his side. They're going to follow him. They're going to watch his videos. They're going to buy his discs. Simon Lizotte moving away from Discmania, he's going to keep all of those original fans that still they don't love Simon for Discmania, they love Simon for Simon. So now Simon's accrued that massive Discmania fan base. Now let's say he does go to MVP, Simon Lizotte's just going to accrue all those MVP fans as well. So the Lizotte brand is going to double in size this year, and I wouldn't be surprised to see his YouTube channel get up to 250,000 or even possibly 300,000 subscribers this year. So I don't think Simon's leaving maybe he's no longer employed by Discmania, but he's still part of their family, and he'll always be cemented in the history of Discmania no matter what happens to that company. And now the new company that Simon goes to, he's just going to broaden his scope and become even more famous and successful, and that's ultimately what we all want that for Simon. So I mean everybody's going to support this decision, and there's a lot of obviously careful deliberation into this decision. I don't have a single problem with Simon leaving, and I don't think anyone else should either. But also, hopefully Simon realizes that he's not actually losing his family. Hopefully he doesn't really mean that, because I don't think he's losing anything. He still has that whole family. He can always reach out to those guys. They can collaborate down the road sometimes, maybe. I don't know how it works, but I mean, I'm sure the communication doors are always open for Simon. So I don't think he's leaving his family, but let's carry on a little bit here.
Am I crazy for letting all that go? Maybe, probably, maybe not. I don't know, but all I kept hearing from my friends and family was listen to your heart. And the closer I listened, the more it kept telling me, go. So, despite all the sad and scared feelings I'm feeling, I've decided to follow my heart and start this new chapter in my life and in my career. And there's just no other way than for me to go into this with the most motivation ever and excitement. And I can't wait to share future details and projects with you guys. It's going to be crazy and awesome. But before we get into anything new, there's one last big Discmania announcement to make, which I have right here. Yes, the Doombird 4 was produced and printed before this decision was made and before we knew that this was happening. and there's a pretty good amount of them, and we talked about all the different options, what we could possibly do with these discs, and we didn't want to trash them. So we've decided to make a Simon Lizotte Discmania farewell release with these absolutely gorgeous Horizon plastic Doombird Fords FD3s. This made it way tougher, obviously, for me to leave, just because it is such a cool looking disc. They feel absolutely amazing, and I'm really sad that I'll never throw this. But you can. A limited amount of these will be released on Monday, January 9th.
Okay, so I just wanted to plug Simon's new Doombird Ford. Definitely go buy those. It supports Simon. It supports Discmania one last time. And yeah, this whole thing is very exciting. It's very fun. I can't wait to see, which company Simon's sponsoring with. I still think it's MVP, and I think Simon's gonna take to MVP discs extremely well. They have such a vast lineup. They have Axiom, MVP, and Streamline is my understanding. So Simon's gonna have endless options to throw all the discs that he needs. But yeah, I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section down below. Simon's changed the game. He's come out and won 4 times last year. He's got one of the biggest YouTube channels in the game. He has the most supportive fan base in the game. I mean, if you look at the comments, your fans will follow you. We love you, Simon. That's why you're the best disc golf YouTuber. People giving him advice. He's got fans still back in Germany, so he's got, fans on multiple continents. Nothing else matters to me other than you are happy with the change in your career. A personality like yours does. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Simon reads the comments and just cries a little bit. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. The fans love Simon so much, so him thinking that he's leaving his family and then getting that reaffirmation that the fans all love Simon, people saying just repeatedly, "We love you, Simon. Congratulations. We love you." I'm sure Simon wasn't sure what people are going to say, but now I'm sure reading those kind comments from everybody is going to help him feel a lot better about the whole thing. But please comment down below. You're watching Iceberg TV, and take care.